Let's see what happens here. He is the newest seed here in Group A. The countdown has begun. Let's hear it for these two players.
All right, it looks like the map is going to be Sandstorm Mist. Both the players are in the game and ready. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next TVT here on Saturday, day 2 of IPL4. On the left-hand side of the map, it is Sandstorm Mist. We do have aLive. Recent acquisition of Team Fnatic. And over on the right-hand side of the map, we do have a recent acquisition of Complexity, of course. That is the Red Terran player. Make some noise for GanZi.
All right, so Sandstorm Mist TVT. Things to watch out for on this map is the Nook to the left-hand side of the base with the lower level. You have to be very careful of secret elevators there. It's an area a lot of players will just drop a supply depot there for scouting purposes. We have both players just dropping their initial supply depot right now. Neither player going for a wall. And we do have a very quick gas here.
That's a really fast gas from aLive.
Yeah, very quick gas. I mean, it's just gas first. And we do have a hidden Rax here, it looks like, from GanZi.
Well, the thing is about those barracks, too, that was a traditional timing for that barracks opening. You don't necessarily need to wall off in TVT. So even though the barracks is placed at a somewhat weird location, doesn't necessarily mean something crazy is going to happen.
No, it doesn't. You know, he might just be trying to throw aLive off. In the event that aLive scouts him, all he might find is a command center and a refinery, and he might overreact and drop a bunker or build some units that he wasn't previously going to build.
Interesting.
He could also be putting the barracks up there to hide some sort of a add-on.
Yeah, he could be. That's the other case. He could go into a starport up there as well.
Right, he could build a factory, build a starport, swap an add-on there. But no second Rax from GanZi. He's just content to stay on the one Rax right now.
Well, what kind of options here are available for aLive, since he did open up with that considerably fast gas?
Well, he's more than likely going to head into a very quick Banshee. That is just one of the staple builds of TVT. So effective to get a Banshee out there really early on in the game and just start harassing your opponent.
This is pretty much the fastest possible Banshee you can get.
Absolutely. And even just getting Cloak forces your opponent to do so many different things. He's going to have to burn scans. He's going to have to get an NG bay. He's going to have to start putting up turrets. All of these things are so expensive. It's indirect damage to your opponent. Each scan, 300 minerals right there. I mean,
basically, Cloak Banshees are a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to deal with. By the way, aLive putting a nice spot on that supply depot on that little low ground area. We have a factory. Now, GanZi has put his barracks at the top right, and now he's put his factory down to the bottom right of his base, or bottom, I should say. So he's really spacing out his buildings here. And like I said, you don't need to wall off, but this is a little intriguing now. Doesn't necessarily mean anything crazy is coming, but he can hide a lot of add-ons.
He just wants aLive to be completely in the dark. He doesn't want him to have any idea what he's up to. That's why he's spacing his buildings out all over the place. And there we go. He is going to go ahead and get that starport at the southern end of his base. Now, here we have aLive on the other side, going to swap that starport onto the tech lab and probably get a Banshee, but he never got that second gas, so he's not going to get Cloak.
Well, that's interesting. He's only going to have the Banshee without the Cloak. Obviously, that is less of an investment for the Terran player, but it's still going to give him the ability to do some damage. It can be scouted and picked off by Marines on the ground. By the way, GanZi coming up here with an SCV and 3 Marines. He will give chase and enter the base. There is only a Hellion there and a full scout given there to GanZi because he was aggressive and he moved in.
Oh, and he's going to have to fight this one out because there's no way for him to run away from that Hellion. Loses those 3 Marines immediately. Hopefully aLive does not go for a counterattack here. That could be devastating for GanZi. He's going to be forced to throw down a bunker on the high ground here as he gets a Viking out as well. And oddly enough, he put the tech lab on that factory, and I think he just hasn't gotten around to swapping it yet.
Interesting. So he should get that tech lab down to the starport right now. The early siege tank doesn't make that much sense to me at this point in the game. By the way, Hellion gonna try to poke up the ramp. It saw the bunker. Very nice control just to take a peek and only took a little bit of damage on the hull of the Hellion. And now finally the starport adding onto the tech lab. We do have Cloak coming out from GanZi, whereas aLive made a Banshee, but is going to follow up with Vikings. So he's going to have the ability to combat the Banshees as long as he has the detection.
First Banshee from aLive making its way into GanZi's base right now. GanZi does have that single Viking, and I bet aLive wishes he had Cloak right now.
Well, it looks like he's going to be able to pick off maybe a couple of SCVs here, but it is going to go down. Unfortunately, you mentioned it, aLive did not get Cloak. A total of 5 workers have gone down this game so far, and aLive, after losing that Banshee, not really getting money's worth for it, is going to opt to go for a command center down to the low ground. So he's going to transition out of this. He's not going to stay on one base and do something crazy like we saw earlier in this tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And we have Blue Flame coming out of aLive right now. Interestingly enough, he's also dropping a CC here on the low ground.
Wow.
GanZi, meanwhile, has already finished his CC in the main. He's going to go ahead and morph that into an orbital. GanZi also has Cloak about to finish here. We do have a Banshee making its way over to aLive's base right now. aLive has nothing to deal with this Banshee. He's just now getting his Viking out. This could be disastrous.
And he's just now got the engineering bay coming down as well. He doesn't really have any ability to detect this. The Cloak comes down. Those Marines will not be able to see, but there was enough energy saved from a ComSat. Good anticipation by aLive, and he kills off the Banshee as well.
Brilliant anticipation by aLive right there. I don't know if anyone else caught that, but he dropped that depot in the top portion of his base and moved the 3 Marines there preemptively with 0 scouting information on that Banshee. Had no idea it was coming.
Had those Marines in position, ready to combat that, and he saved that ComSat energy, which I think really just shows how good of a player he really is when it comes to anticipating the attack, knowing what kind of strategy his opponent's going to use. We do have another Cloak Banshee coming into the natural, and I would imagine with 2 orbitals now, he might have enough energy, not on that one, but perhaps on the other one, and the observer is showing the energy count. It is not enough. 37, 38, it's accumulating, but it doesn't really matter. GanZi actually decided to fall back, and he's not going to commit right now with that Cloaked Banshee.
Yeah, GanZi just using the Banshee for map control at this point. Going to clean up the Xel'Naga Tower. Make sure, he can grab that back at some point. Now, we do have a reactor coming up here on GanZi's factory and dual engineering bays already starting upgrades. Interesting, very interesting.
So he's going to have quite a bit of upgrades coming out from GanZi. GanZi, by the way, was later on that natural. He didn't get the expansion right away. So economy right now certainly favoring aLive. Yeah, he lost the Banshee early on, but he got that command center down on the low ground. It shows how powerful expanding is. And we have a medevac coming in here with 4 Hellions. I'm not sure entirely if they're Blue Flame upgraded. I would imagine not. They are actually, and he's going to be able to get inside the base and do some damage.
Yeah, he certainly is. This could be disastrous. The SCVs are lined up. What a beautiful shot right there. Kills 3 or 4. He needs to do some serious damage, though, or he might just try and save all of these Hellions, but 3 of them do go down. And let's take a look here and see how many units were lost there. Workers killed 10 right now, so couple that with his initial Banshee harass, and he's taken out 10 workers of GanZi's thus far.
All right, well, we do have a Banshee here for GanZi. He's going to be able to push those Marines away. Medevac also being chased away by a Viking, and aLive might lose it. He's got to be careful here as GanZi's giving chase, but 3 Vikings coming in, and he might set the trap, but no, GanZi very, very good there. He's paying attention to his units, and he didn't want to lose it, and good job by him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very quick turnaround now.
Good reaction.
GanZi has quite a few Marines here. He is starting to get those medevacs going as well, so he seems to be going with a very heavy bio style here.
Yep.
He added this tech lab on the factory at the bottom of his base quite some time ago.
But he hasn't made tanks.
He hasn't made a single tank yet, so not really sure what that's for.
Yeah, by the way, guys, GanZi right now, just to kind of simplify it a little bit, going for that mass marine marauder style, tons of upgrades, getting all the bio you can possibly get, not really going for sea shanks right now. aLive, on the other hand, is going for mass mech, Vikings, tanks, Blue Flame Hellions that we saw earlier on as well. So it's going to be a complete collision of 2 different styles here of TVT.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He has switched over to mech fully, and, if there's anything we saw from previous games, I mean, MMA executing that mech build just looked absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And if aLive can measure up to that and play mech in a similar fashion, reflect these drops, try not to take too much damage, And here comes the first Banshee with a potential double drop here. Vikings do pick that off.
Tried to land it, and oh wow, he's cleared the airspace now for 4 Blue Flame Hellions to go ahead and drop into the darkness. And now will GanZi have enough troops here to defend against his only Marines? Blue Flame Hellions pretty good against that, and they're going to be able to get inside the mineral line. No response from GanZi. He was actually mobilized his entire army to the left of the map as he's going to go for a drop into aLive space.
And here comes the drop from GanZi. The Blue Flame Hellions just liquidating the Marines as they come out of the dropships. He has more than enough to hold this off. He has plenty of siege tanks. He just needs to get rid of that Banshee. He is taking some heavy losses, though. That Banshee does have 16 kills. 24 workers lost to 9 currently, now 10.
Yeah, so aLive really getting a lot more there. You know what? I really like how aLive is approaching this game, man. He's just got the mech going for him. In the late game, mech is just so much more powerful in TVT. I feel like right now, GanZi should be using the mobility that he's got with mass Marines. And he did try, but he needs to be attacking multiple locations, a la MMA in the other game that he played.
Yeah, MMA,
and he's not doing it.
MMA showcasing both styles very, very, very well. Now, he's not out of the woods yet. I mean, he needs to hold this push from aLive coming through the midfield right now. Look how many tanks we have at the 15-minute mark. I mean, talk about perfect macro.
And now, even though you have a bunch of Marines, you're mobile, you're more fast and agile, I don't care, man. Those tanks are going to shred you. And here comes aLive. He's coming up. He should siege up pretty soon here once he gets in range of the buildings. And he might just be waiting for the perfect opportunity. Yeah, he's going to siege all of his tanks on the ramp, thereby cutting off the ramp from any for access for any units. The Vikings coming in from GanZi, trying to get air control, but it's looking pretty bleak now as his base is under siege, and I'm not too sure what GanZi is going to be able to do.
I mean, we were at the 16-minute mark, and aLive's going back, and aLive taking out a bunch of Marines and Marauders here. The tanks are shelling away from the low ground, and he's not even using half of his tanks.
Oh, the orbital command could go down. Tanks now have to get in range, and once they siege up in range, that orbital command is in a lot of trouble. The only defense here is the Marauders and the Vikings, and here we go. GanZi also attacking on the other side of the map, trying to counter, trying to cut off all the reinforcements, in fact, and he's doing a pretty good job of that, and he's going to clean up the rest of these tanks. Will he be able to counter and do enough damage to equalize things? That's the question.
I don't think so. He's almost already lost his entire counterattack. They're all in the deep red. They can be cleaned up very, very easily now. On the other hand, these tanks at the bottom of the ramp cannot be cleaned up.
That Banshee actually could sway things pretty heavily for GanZi. He needs to be able to get away from the comsat, pick off those tanks one by one, and that is why aLive actually backed off a significant portion of his army. Now he's got Vikings as well to kill off the enemy Vikings, so his Banshee is pretty damn safe, and if he can pick off these tanks, he might have a shot to get back into the thick of things.
Yeah, and he is going after those tanks right now. He's probably going to get 1, maybe 2 at the most by the time they get back to their main. And hopefully he will. Well, if you know, there we go. He's going to pick off the second tank as well. No, a Viking comes to intercept for aLive. Beautiful right there.
Okay, so he lost the Banshee there as he was giving chase, could not kill off the tanks in time, and now here comes aLive once again with plenty of Hellions. All those Neils and SCVs are in so much trouble, and could be all she wrote, man. There are some Marauders here.
All right,
it looks like he's gonna hold. He's not gonna give up yet, but man, he is in a tight spot.
I mean, yeah, if we just take a look at units killed real quick, 46.
Look at how many tanks there are back at the home of aLive.
46 workers killed thus far, and you know, aLive just has such incredible macro. He's been ahead on supply by so much this entire game, and you know, keep in mind, he was facing up against somebody who was using almost pure bio, and he was still able to out macro him while going mech.
Yeah, well, the thing is, GanZi, I don't think ever took the opportunity to multitask his way into victory there. He didn't get agile with it. He didn't drop multiple locations. He kind of dropped everything into the base at one time. That doesn't work out very well. And here comes some Hellions. They will be able to continue to solidify this lead for aLive, roasting up more SCVs and meals. There's another drop coming in, though, from GanZi. He's not giving up. He might be able to go after the reactors and the tech labs, thereby limiting the production of aLive. But here comes the reinforcements. There are 12 siege tanks total, and Thor's coming out as well. aLive is just way ahead right now, and that's going to force the GG.
Oh, man. Yeah. That was a... You know, I kind of said that he should aspire to play the beautiful MMA mech. Well, I